What is upstream? My hair is weird. Oh, I just punched the mic. My hair is weird today because I just got out of the shower. I got this nice anime strand that won't leave me alone, and that'll probably be in my face all day. And that'll be fun. But welcome to This Is America, the new segment I film on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/halfpinttelevision. I'm actually wearing my own shirt today. Made this a long time ago, back when I first started my channel, and my YouTube channel was quite the mess, but I'm picking it back up. So that's youtube.com/halfpinttelevision. This is a segment, This Is America, where I just go over some news throughout the week, usually pertaining to this country, and I just kind of talk about it, give my opinion, and I can't emphasize that enough. This is just one man's opinion. I am informed in some things, less informed in others, but this is the process of me attempting to get informed and offer my take on things.
The end result of the world's greatest scientists working around the clock to save countless lives, immortalized in a card we'll all definitely lose in a month. Vitally important, but also too big to fit in any standard wallet. Way to follow the 1 yard line, science. And look, not that we needed it, but this week saw yet another reminder of just how dangerous COVID is, with cases in India in particular surging at a truly terrifying rate.
Yeah,
India set a world record for daily COVID cases of over 400,000, and that is probably an undercount. And obviously, the world should be doing everything it can to help India right now. But our best way out of this mess long term is clearly vaccines. And it's worth remembering, we in the US are incredibly fortunate. We currently have access to a lot of vaccines, and more than half of US adults have now gotten at least one dose, which is great. The bad news is some vaccination locations have already gone from having not enough supply to not enough demand.
According to the CDC, the daily average for vaccinations has dropped 20%.
That's what it's like in my area. I know so many people who aren't getting the vaccine, and I just don't get it. I mean, some of them, it's the mentality that, like, if enough people get it, I won't need it. And maybe there's some truth to that if you don't go out at all and you're working from home and you're not going to the grocery store or anything. I just don't know very many people that that's true for. And so, just not getting it. It's just so problematic. It's just get the damn vaccine if you can.
Since the start of the month, a worrying trend.
Vaccine demand declining in South Carolina. Some providers left with extra doses and appointments are wide open.
Palm Beach County Healthcare District says it is now facing 10,000 appointments for the county's vaccine sites remain unfilled since they opened this week.
Appointments are going unfilled. We've got thousands of appointments available over the next few weeks and no takers at this point.
It's true. A worrying amount of people are holding off on getting the free COVID vaccine. And I'm not saying that you should immediately get something just because it's free. I wouldn't recommend getting these old dolls on Craigslist just because they're free. They're weird, broken, and they will kill you in your sleep.
For sure.
But these vaccines could save not just your life, but the lives of people around you. And it's genuinely dispiriting that just a few months into the vaccine rollout, we are already at this point. And the problem is, for the coronavirus, the herd immunity threshold is thought to be between 70 and 90% of the population. But a survey found that while 60% of American adults have got or want to get the vaccine, another 18% say maybe, and 22% say no. And if you're thinking, well,
so that's not enough.
Every maybe gets the vaccine, that still puts us at 78%.
Because you want to be as close to 90 as possible.
That poll doesn't take into account children who we're not vaccinating right now and who make up around 22% of the population. So we need to get the vaccine into as many adults as possible as soon as possible. And that means you really need to get vaccinated. Yeah, I'm not sure I need it. Joe Rogan says I'm probably fine.
Oh,
look,
my God.
It is true. You might not get seriously sick from COVID, or indeed sick at all. But you could still inadvertently pass it to someone who could then die. And before you...
Exactly. That's it. Right there. You'll be fine. Probably. Statistically, more than likely. But you go places. You touch things. You breathe air. We all do these things. And so does everyone else. And some of them are old and immune compromised. Or young and immune compromised. And I really don't get the argument here. I mean, it's just a shot. We got them all the time as kids. Go to school to play sports. Had to. And now all of a sudden there's this new shot because science is always changing and everyone's like, no! I just don't get it, man. We fight over the dumbest shit.
Say, well, vulnerable people should just get vaccinated then. The vaccines are only 95% effective, Mike, so they'll probably be okay, but maybe not. Also, the more the virus circulates, the likelier we'll see mutations that make it more dangerous.
Exactly.
Possibly helping it to evade the vaccine completely, putting us all the way back to square one. So get the fucking vaccine, Mike!
Yeah, thank you.
The point is, there is a problematic amount of vaccine hesitancy right now, even among people who you would really like to think would not need convincing.
We met Robert Gannon before he went in to visit his 77-year-old mother, Kia, who is on a ventilator right now in the ICU due to COVID. Had she been vaccinated?
She was not vaccinated. I think she was being hesitant, just wanting to see how things played out.
Have you been vaccinated?
I have not.
What would it take for you to get vaccinated?
I'd want to make sure that it's safe.
Wow.
It is.
There is perhaps no clearer sign of just how deep vaccine hesitancy runs than someone in that guy's position still questioning whether to get it, instead of asking, is there such a thing as too much vaccine? Because if not, I'm going to keep going back for injections until I'm around 80% Pfizer. The group you might have heard have high hesitancy rates are Republicans, and that is also true. Around 30% of Republicans say they won't get it, and it's not hard to see why. Because fears and doubts about the vaccine have flown around conservative media.
Yeah.
With one of the most prominent super spreaders being this fucking guy.
What about this vaccine? Why are Americans...
Fuck you, Tucker Carlson. Fuck you so hard. You stupid, walking propaganda, fucking embarrassment to journalism piece of trash. Oh my God. I can't. This is it. He does not provide news.
Americans being discouraged from asking simple, straightforward questions about it. Questions like,
no,
how
they're
effective
not.
Are these drugs? Are they
effective?
Safe? Do you need a reason to turn on the vaccine? And what happens if you do turn it on?
On? Oh,
Will you be allowed to fly on airplanes? Or
no.
go to work? Or enter the front doors of Madison Square Garden?
No, why would you?
Now they're telling us the vaccine has a delayed response. Okay, delayed by how long? They don't say. If vaccines work, why are vaccinated people still banned from living normal lives? Honestly, what's the answer to that? So maybe it doesn't work and they're simply not telling you that. Well, you hate to think that, especially if you've gotten 2 shots.
Oh my God.
But what's the other potential explanation?
Okay. It is genuinely weird to see someone hosting a show on a supposed news network and
Thank
ending
you.
every sentence with a
question.
Especially
oh
when
my
answers
God.
to most of those questions are out there for anyone who cares to know. So, for instance, that
Thank you.
that the CDC
oh my God.
still recommends wearing masks in.
I fucking love John Oliver, dude. You go, Zazu. You go.
Doors when around vulnerable, unvaccinated people does not mean the vaccine doesn't work. Clinical trials found that the vaccines are spectacularly successful at preventing people from getting serious disease.
Weird.
As for whether they protect you from spreading the virus, the trials weren't designed to assess that, but evidence so far indicates that they drastically reduce transmission.
Oh, crazy.
The reason we still see mask and distancing recommendations is that the CDC is being cautious and wants to be sure that it is not spreading bullshit around during a global pandemic like a frozen dinner duke with a TV show. Anyway, I hope that answers at least one of your gape-mouthed bad faith wonderings, Tucker, you scrunch-faced fear baboon. And the problem is, when people like Tucker raise questions without bothering to answer,
stoking fear.
there is a lot of misinformation out there for people to then stumble on. Anti-vaccine groups have been waiting for a moment like this to spread doubt. And the scary thing is, they don't actually need to convince people they're right. They just need to convince people that no one is. And that tracks with recent polling. While few believe specific myths about the vaccine, larger numbers say that they didn't know whether particular myths were true or false. For instance, only 4% of people believe the COVID vaccine is more deadly than the disease, but 25% say they don't know. And that is not good. Because if
anti-vaxxers
can simply spread enough misinformation to cause people to throw up
Not
their hands
know,
and say,
yeah.
I just don't know enough to get the shot, they have already seriously fucked things up for all of us. And to be clear, most people who are hesitant are not fanatics or conspiracy theorists. Many are just trying to make the best decision for themselves and their family, just how fast the vaccine came together.
Wouldn't want to get it.
Pull it up over your
like it
nose.
was too rushed.
I think the whole thing has been rushed through too fast.
It kind of came really fast, like the vaccine. They made up one really fast.
It was done way too quick.
Took a year.
I don't feel comfortable with taking it. Not anytime soon.
I think that they're using the public as guinea pigs.
Their worry is that we are being used as guinea pigs for a rushed, untested vaccine. It is an understandable thing to worry about, even if some express it in less than ideal ways.
Tell me why you're concerned.
6 words. Testing, 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 and more testing. It's important if you're going to put something into your body that it's absolutely and totally tested.
I tell you what I admire about that guy. His confidence, because I don't think I've seen anyone more self-assured than the man who just promised 6 words, said 7, and counted 5, all without even flinching. That guy is so secure in his thinking, he can be wrong about numbers on camera twice and do it with an unblinking smile. But it is worth understanding exactly how the vaccine was able to come to market so fast, because researchers had been working on vaccines against other coronaviruses for years. So, when COVID-19 hit, they had a significant head start. Operation Warp Speed, as it was famously called, wasn't about rushing the science. It was about significantly cutting through bureaucracy that could have otherwise slowed it down, as this vaccine researcher explains.
Did you ever imagine that we'd be able to develop a vaccine in 12 to 18 months?
The short answer is no. We were able to compress the timeline so that things that we would normally do in a linear fashion, A to B, we actually start the F and the E at the same time as A and B.
Exactly. They took steps that usually happen sequentially and save time by running them simultaneously. And to be honest, I am envious of that level of efficiency. I would save so much time every morning if I could shit, shower, shave, eat breakfast, kiss my family and brush my teeth all at the same time. Unfortunately, I've only ever managed to do 3 of them at once, but I am so close to that 4th one. Now, another concern that you may have heard or seen online is that the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines are the first authorized to use messenger RNA, which is true, but that has given rise to speculation about what mRNA is capable of doing.
Basically, anyone taking these vaccines, they're all designed to do the same thing, is going to have neurological disorders within 1 year. Most of the people taking the vaccine will be dead within 10. Let me tell you something. You take the mRNA, it creates plaque in your brain and gives you Alzheimer's, and I got the studies too. So, hey, you think they just put fluoride in the water to dumb you down? Woo!
What was actually on that paper? He didn't say anything about a study. He didn't give who did the study. Nothing. He just said, I have a study, and slapped a stack of paper that literally could have been anything. But it doesn't matter, because he's stoking the fear, like Tucker Carlson. Except for this guy is a fucking... Oh my God! Oh my God! I thought Wednesday was your day off. What the fuck is up? And Luna, salary threads, deal damage, daylights. Holy shit! What is up, everyone? Oh my God! Salary threads. Thank you for the follow. Thank you for the follow. We were watching John Oliver. I was just talking shit on this toad of a man. Megan Hysteria, thank you for the follow. Love your Poke content. Deal damage. Thank you for the follow. Gun Rap Supreme, thank you for the follow. I'll say it for you. I don't give a fuck. But I was just talking about how awful Alex Jones is and how he's really just a capitalist and a pill salesman. And that he stokes flames and like... Fuck yeah, finally, you got it. What up, Jetty? Thanks, Shoddy. How you doing? But fucking, he's just a pill salesman and a capitalist. Natural male vitality. See, you know exactly. So right now he said, I love this segment, man. Thank you so much. So he's talking about how the coronavirus vaccine gives you Alzheimer's, and he goes, and I got the studies. And just slaps a random stack of paper. Doesn't say dick about the studies or anything. Just says, I got him. And he's literally a con man. He just buys multivitamins and then repackages them and says like, this is gonna help you fight the elites. This is gonna help you fight the Democrats trying to take over. You gotta take these random pills. And they'll make you more of a man, give you testosterone. You want to be a big frog man like me? I got the studies. And I hate him. He's like the bad Shrek.
No one else has as much fun on making the world a worse place to live in. He's like he invented a jetpack.
I'll take 7.
Anything with human shit. But the thing is, there is absolutely no evidence or credible studies supporting any of what he just said.
I hear the elites.
mRNA vaccines modify your DNA. It is very important to know that the vaccine's mRNA does not enter our genome. It does its work far from the cell's nucleus, which is where your DNA is.
Right, DNA is transcoded into RNA and then back in the DNA through the mitosis process, and it all happens in the nucleus when the chromosomes split, and then they go into halves and they come back. But now all that activity is in the nucleus.
They are worried that the vaccines cause infertility.
And mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell.
Let's see. Those rumors were fueled by a
Fuck biology. I also hate biology. Biology sucks. It's hard. That's about as far as I know into biology. Those are all like basic middle school
role
things.
in the development of the placenta. But a few things there. First,
why are we talking about a placenta?
That claim, it's a myth, it's inaccurate, there is no evidence to support it, and there is already pretty good proof that Pfizer's vaccine doesn't cause infertility because
you're almost a bio major? What?
Multiple women became pregnant.
Wow, you're a lot smarter than me.
The only one who suffered a pregnancy loss was given the placebo. So it is just not true. And look, the final myth you may have heard is that the risks from the vaccine
it was during testing. I'm stupid.
Than the risks of COVID. That is a perception fed by the
I'm so happy I'm not. I feel that. I got my ass kicked in biology. Yeah, same. I failed bio in college.
You may have seen this story.
Destroyed me.
Shared about 23 people in Norway dying within a week of getting the shot.
Just
does sound scary.
Brutal.
That headline is missing some pretty major context. While those people did die, at that point in Norway, the vaccine was being administered to the oldest or sickest people, and a certain percentage of them were statistically
likely to
going to die that week,
Yeah.
vaccine or no vaccine.
Right.
On average, 400 people
I'll
die
find out on
every
Monday.
week in
Yo,
nursing
sending
homes
you
in
all my
Norway.
brain energy.
And when the World Health Organization reviewed those incidents, they didn't find any unexpected or untoward increase in fatalities, which does make sense. Correlation isn't causation. The vaccine protects against COVID, not the concept of mortality. It is weird that I have to clarify
brain
this, but
energy
you are,
received.
in fact, going to die one day. Mike? Yeah, Mike. Stop listening to what Joe Rogan tells you. He's a fucking moron. And those are his words, not mine. That also goes for stories that you might see hyping up scary-sounding data from VAERS, the
fucking Joe Rogan, bro. He's been going through it lately.
It's a database that collects stories of medical events following
Should have kept his mouth shut.
But any layperson has to treat data coming out of it with extreme caution because reports can be entered by anyone and are not routinely verified. One doctor once claimed that the flu vaccine turned him into the Hulk, and that report was accepted and entered into the database, which is
What? What? Daddy duties. Good luck with the daddy duties. This dude said he turned into the Hulk. And then they said, okay, we'll write down turned into the Hulk. Did they not verify? What is that? Quantify that for me. What does turned into the Hulk mean in our actual real world? Oh my... I don't even know, like, What? I want to meet this man, and I want him to tell me what he meant.
Completely absurd. A drug cannot turn you into the Hulk.
No, it can.
Although,
I think.
admittedly, it can turn you into Captain America, the only superhero whose origin story is a metric ton of experimental Nazi steroids. And look, if we're just going to share random, unverified side effects, I might as well show you this truly shocking video about what might happen to your mom.
So my mom got the vaccine because she's a healthcare worker.
Right.
And she told me she's experiencing some side effects. Mom, what's that side effect you said you're experiencing?
Being a boss-ass bitch.
Very good.
Word.
And look, I'm not saying that this is useless. It very much isn't.
Fuck yeah.
The reason the CDC collects this data is so
what
if
a
it does emerge,
fucking
actions
queen.
can be taken. That is exactly what happened with the Johnson & Johnson shot. The CDC found a potential pattern of red blood clots and paused the rollout under an abundance of caution.
That was lit.
Skeptics pointed to that as evidence that they were right about vaccines being
fucking
dangerous.
Drinking her
In reality,
tea.
it kind of proves the opposite. That the safety risk of
boss
vaccines is rigorously and publicly analysed, not secretly buried and somehow leaked to the human football's neon scream hour. And none of this is to say that there are no side effects to the vaccines.
Okay, got it.
It is just that.
Okay.
Serious
He was
ones
calling
like
him a
anaphylaxis
human football.
are incredibly rare. 4.7 cases per million for Pfizer, 2.5 cases per million for
yeah, I've been
Moderna.
hearing a
And
little
you
bit
should
about
know,
the anaphylactic
those
shock,
also
but
occur
they've been
mostly in
handling them
individuals with a
fine.
history of severe allergies. The fact is, the vast majority of people can expect at most
just like EpiPens and send them to the
symptoms in
hospital
the first few days after their shot, or maybe just a sore arm, or maybe nothing at all. For what it's worth, I actually got my second shot this Thursday. My arm hurt a little bit for a day, but that's basically it. I will admit, the following afternoon, for a couple of hours, I did feel a little bit like a boss-ass bitch, but that passed quick. And anyway, the key thing to remember is that no side effect
I get my second shot in like a week.
COVID, a disease that has killed over 500,000 people in the US alone, while once again, to date, the vaccine has been proven to kill exactly 0. So it is more than natural to have questions, but there are reassuring answers out there.
Yeah.
And anyone just throwing out questions without acknowledging that
or answering them
has another agenda entirely.
Anyone who's anyone in the news
close to herd immunity.
Stop. Anyone in the news who's just asking questions without providing answers is not doing the news. That's not what the news is. The news isn't. It's called news. You're supposed to tell us what's new. You're not supposed to just fucking scare everyone with questions and then just be like, "What if?" Okay, bye. Like, fucking what? How is that news? Like, just fucking. What if blah 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 blah? What if fucking COVID just got microchips, blah 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 blah, all that fucking crazy shit, and then just like, we don't know, bye. Like, how is that news? Who thinks that's news? Who feels better watching that? Who wants to watch that? You're not even fucking learning. You're literally just, I don't know, playing pretend for like an hour, and you're all playing the same pretend, and it's a dumb one. Like, oh my god. We're supposed to watch the news because we have questions.
New follower, woo!
Yo! Thank you for the follow, Jake Redux. But we're supposed to watch the news because we have questions. We're not supposed to watch the news to get questions. That doesn't make any sense.
Badly need to convince anyone who can be convinced. So the question is, how do we do that? Well, some Republican lawmakers...
Look at that, look at that. The question is, how do we do that? Starts on the answer. What a concept. Someone tell Tucker Carlson.
Because to their credit, have tried to reassure their voters, although occasionally those attempts have looked like this.
Live free and beauty surrounds you. The world still astounds you each time you look at a star. I'm Senator John Kennedy. I can't sing very well, but I'm free. Be free. Be cool.
Jesus Christ, that's awful, Jake.
I did. It works.
Okay, I don't love that.
Yeah, our judicial system's fucked.
It is the worst thing
and
to come out of a
what
Kennedy's
the
mouth
fuck was
since
that?
Kennedy's head, but also because the truth is that probably didn't convince anyone. In researching this piece, experts repeatedly told us that the vaccine hesitant generally don't respond well to hearing from politicians, celebrities, or athletes telling them to get the vaccine. And I get that. I would love to.
But they responded to Joe Rogan telling him not to.
Carefully laid out some data with a triumphant call for people to get vaccinated, featuring a mascot of some incongruous animal like, I don't know, a vaccine cicada. You don't think that that's something that I would be interested in doing? The truth is, we actually did that. We had a vaccine cicada costume made. But after being advised that this technique would not be remotely effective in convincing people who were hesitant, we scrapped the idea completely. We emailed our mascot guy and we told him not to come in because it was an absolutely stupid idea. A vaccine cicada? Can you imagine how dumb that would look?
He's got 2 shots.
It wouldn't even look like a cicada, more like some kind of unhinged cockroach. It was a terrible concept that could have fundamentally undermined the very important message that we were trying to send, and I am so, so glad that we avoided making that mistake. Because the truth
I wonder
is,
if that was his wife.
I'm not going to be able to convince the people in your life who are hesitant. The person with the best chance of doing that is you. So if you know someone who is worried for whatever reason and you want to convince them otherwise, don't show them this video. But maybe do try and use some of the information inside it to tell them yourself. And when you are trying to do that, don't dismiss or judge them for having doubts. And I know that that is not always easy. I could have given that guy a pass for holding up the wrong number of fingers, but I couldn't do it. I don't have that level of restraint. I'm a small, petty man, and that guy is a fucking idiot.
And that's hard to do because it's,
but if you think
it's a safety
you can do
issue,
better, it is incredibly important that you try.
But he is right.
Or to put it into terms that that guy can understand,
understanding is the only thing that's ever
going to
bring change.
Please just try as hard as you can. And now, this.
And now.
Then, in big COVID-19 and vaccination news, we have the FDA now set to approve the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine for 12 to 15-year-olds next week. But this expected move coming just a month after a clinical trial found that the vaccine, which is currently the only vaccine approved for 16 and 17-year-olds, is just as effective, if not even more effective, in children aged 12 to 15 as it was for adults. Pfizer reported that none of the teens who received the vaccine developed symptomatic infections, a sign of powerful protection, and that they also produce strong antibody responses and about the same side effects as people 16 to 25. So, as far as what happens next regarding the FDA clearance, that could come as early as this week. From there, the CDC's vaccine advisory panel will likely meet the next day to review the clinical trial data and make recommendations. And then it's essentially just about implementation.
Good news compared to yesterday's vaccine news,
because it would significantly expand the country's vaccination campaign ahead of summer activities in the next school year. And notably, this announcement also comes as the American Academy of Pediatrics reported just yesterday that children now account for more than a fifth of new coronavirus cases in states that release data by age. But according to the data, they made up 22% of new infections reported in the past week compared to 3% last year. Though, of course, you have experts noting that a big reason for this is that adults have been getting vaccinated. So the cases among adult Americans, those have been going down. But public health officials also say that the spikes are due to, at least in part, the easing of restrictions on school activities. And ultimately, with this story, and honestly anything else that stood out to you today, I'd love to know your thoughts on those comments
Yesterday we learned kids make up 20% of the U.S. population that was playing into herd immunity, and fucking straight up statistics, 20% of coronavirus cases in the U.S. are children. That tracks. That tracks like literally perfectly. That's crazy and horrifying and sad. At least they can get the vaccine now. That's good. Shit. That is wild.